Hey, welcome in to this episode of KOIN Conversations. I'm Travis Tyke, morning anchor with KOIN 6 News and co-host of AM Extra on Portland CW. Really fun topic that we're diving into this week. We're working into the world of eSports. It's a booming industry. It's worth multi-billion dollars now. It's also permeated the collegiate ranks in a big way. In fact, coming up on Saturday is the Xfinity Run It Back Collegiate Esports Finals. You have the University of Oregon in that tournament. You have Oregon State University in this tournament, and there are prizes on the line. So to learn about this world of esports, I went on location into a gaming den because I also filmed a story where I tried to play these esports with a University of Oregon gamer. But before we played, we had this KOIN Conversations about the world of esports and where it stands today.
All right, well, thank you both for taking the time. This is really exciting to learn about the esports world, the Run It Back tournament that's coming up on Saturday. Excited to give Rocket League a shot for myself. I've never done it before, Nora, so you're going to have to hold my hand, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I just want to start, from the top here, diving into this esports world. It is booming. It is booming as an industry right now, not just in terms of recreational play, but also competitively and professionally. And I want to dig into that. Billy, maybe we start with you. For those that are unfamiliar with esports, what are they?
Yeah, it's a tough question to answer straightforward, but in the same way that we would say esports, we would say sports, right? So esports is all encompassing, and it just stands for electronic sports. And what we mean by that is there's a lot of different esports, a lot of different titles within esports. Just like you would see with sports, there's football, soccer, basketball, right? Pickleball, right? Whatever it is, right? And the same is applicable for esports. We have League of Legends, Valorant, Overwatch, Overwatch, League of Legends, Rocket League, right, which we will be playing later today, you and Nora. But there's just a wide variety of them, and so esports really is a way of organized competitive play of these video games, where people play for prize pools, or in colleges and universities play for scholarship dollars.
And again, coming up, we have the Comcast Run It Back tournament. We got the collegiate finals this weekend. Nora, dive into what this means, and you can talk to me like I'm 5 years old, for somebody that, if you're so used to the quote unquote traditional sports of a tournament, how big is this Run It Back coming up in the finals this weekend?
Yeah, so Run It Back is actually this is year four, so it's very exciting in year four. Basically I think there's 10 schools or eight or 10 schools that are playing, and they each have their own LAN, which is an in-person activation at their own university. So it's a online watch party, but it's an in-person thing at each university. So the finals are happening, and this year they have League of Legends, which is super exciting because now there's 3 games instead of just 2. What this means for esports in general is, like, I think collegiate's a really great place to start a lot of new things, because collegiate is like a lot of hungry, like passionate students trying to figure out like what they kind of want to do in life, and kind of we can take that passion and put it into an event like this for our fall term. It's really exciting.
It is exciting. It is exciting. Now, what is the format of the Run It Back tournament? How does this work?
Yeah, so the format for the past 2 weeks, starting October 20th, every school has played their round robin rounds. So there was 3 round robin rounds, and now semifinals, which are happening in these next few days, all leading up to grand finals on the 8th, which will have it first starts with a League of Legends best of 3, and then it goes to a Rocket League best of 7, and then a Valorant best of 3. And so it's all the grand final, all just 2 teams for each title, playing against each other to win a trophy, and there's other prizes specifically that go to each title.
So I'm going to throw this question at both of you, and because that is very, again, going with the traditional sports, the best of 5, the best of 3, and that tournament setup and that build up. When you have these different games, like, what's different about this is you're not just playing baseball and playing the same game the whole time. You're mixing up the game. You're
Yeah.
changing which game you are playing. So you have to kind of, I guess, diversify your portfolio or diversify your skill set. What does it take to practice? I mean, what do you do? Do you have drills, or do you play? Do you just play as a team? Or how do you go about that?
I'll take this one because I don't know. I don't think Billy has played. Have you played collegiately, Billy? I actually don't know.
No,
But
no.
basically, I can speak to Valorant because I can speak to what we do and I can kind of get into a little bit. But for Valorant specifically, each game within like the best of three is a different map. So there's about I think 11 different maps, but the map pool is down to 7 maps each act. And we practice all 7 maps throughout our term, and we have different like agents that we play, and we play different play styles, and like we all play like it's completely different map to map. So it's we do a lot of scrimmages, just like other teams, like other regular sports teams do, where they practice against other teams. For like the prolonged ones, like best of three, best of fives, we do like practice best of threes where we play the same team for a prolonged amount of time so we can practice that endurance and like keeping our mind within the game and keeping our mechanics up. For League of Legends, there's a new format this year where it's like you cannot play the same it's called a champion. You can't play the same champion 2 times, like within like nobody can, once you play a champion, nobody else in the entire like best of three can play that champion. So
Mhm.
they have to practice a lot of different champions and really like you said, diversify their pool. And Rocket League, I think I could be wrong. I don't know a lot about Rocket League, even though I'm going to be playing it against you. So we're kind of like on the same level here. But I think that the map, like the outside exterior of the map just changes, but it's like kind of the same distance between each goal. So you're not really diversifying your play. Rocket League's a lot of individual mechanics, from what I've seen personally. So it's a lot of just practicing and keeping your own gameplay up to par, so then you can help your team out later.
Cool, cool. Yeah, and for those that will be watching this later, Nora and I will be playing Rocket League against each other, a game that I will be playing for the first time. Is this how many times have you played Rocket League,
I
Nora?
have played Rocket League probably 4 times. Four
Okay,
times,
all right.
Travis. Four
And
times.
and what is it? Would you best describe it as, cars and soccer kind of collide? Is that the best way to describe it?
It's quite literally just car soccer.
Yeah.
It's same rules, same gist, except um it takes a lot more like mechanical skill than like you think. Like you watch, you're like, oh, I could do that, and then you get in the game, you're like, whoa, this is actually really hard. And so that's why I stink at it. Like I cannot be like our varsity players here.
And your go-to game is Valorant, if I
Yes.
understand correctly. Dive into Valorant.
Valorant is a first person shooter game. It's 5v5. So me and my 4 other teammates, we are rocking a student running back right now. We play in semifinals tomorrow. But it's a lot of it's a obviously like the main point of the game is that like you have aiming mechanics. Um, but a lot of Valorant's also like very strategic.
Mhm.
Which a lot of people, including myself, kind of lack a bit. My teammates make up for what I lack. And it's kind of just really fantastic playing the game in a team environment compared to like playing it on your own, honestly.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I mean, I grew up in the Halo and the Call of Duty eras, and
Yeah.
it was the very beginning of online gaming where you're playing these team deathmatch style games,
Yes.
on consoles, right? And it was always fun to have a team. You always had your squad that you went into
Yeah,
battle with.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Playing with friends is way different than playing by yourself for sure.
Well, and what is it like though too when you're playing with, like in my case, like I'm playing with my buddies, and I'm sure you're friends with your
Hmm.
teammates, but your teammates are your teammates. This is
Yeah.
competitive. How different is that? Maybe playing with people who are, in a competitive arena versus me just like calling up my buddies saying like, "Hey, get online, let's go play."
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a balance between teammate and friendships. Like we're all friends on our team and we all have each other's backs at the same points. Like we hold each other accountable with that. So it's like when you're in this competitive team environment, if you're doing something like we actually had this conversation recently where it's like, how do we want to be talked to when like you have to kind of being in a team, it's like you have to know how to talk to each other and
Yeah.
each person wants to be talked to differently. So it's a really inviting environment that we have on our team where it's like if you um like just tell us how you want to be talked to, so it's not like we're ruining your mental within the game, and then we can all like talk it through. But we definitely hold each other accountable. There have been a few like frustrating moments for sure where it's like you're doing this wrong and you keep doing this wrong. What is happening? And so it's kind of like a conversation like constantly where it's like, how can we help you be the best that you can be?
I think that's great. And how does coaching work, Billy? Man, I don't know if this is where I direct this question at you as the esports program director, but are what does that role entitle? Are you managing? Are you coaching? What goes into it?
Yeah. So, my role is really all the administrative, paper pushing, all
Gotcha.
like budgets, not really the fun, exciting pieces to be totally transparent. But, part of that is working with folks like Nora and other team managers and other players to ensure that, they're getting everything that they need, whether that's for travel or for coaching, and ensuring that, all the resources that we can provide as a program are provided to those students. So, we work with a lot of different coaches. Sometimes they're paid coaches and they're these volunteer positions. Sometimes, specifically for Valorant, right, we have a world-class coach, just from the kindness of his heart, as a U of O alum, wanting to coach here with these students. And so it really just depends on, what talent we can secure with funding or donated support.
Oh, that's great. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, but on the other side of the break, I want to dive into two big topics. Nora, I'm going to continue to pick your brain on the nerves and the feelings with the run it back, and exactly where you feel like you stand as a team. I also want to continue to talk about the explosion of esports. Nora, if I'm not mistaken, it looks like you're on the campus of the University of
I
Oregon, which
am.
is that doesn't look like a room that I recognized when I was a student there. So
Yeah.
it's fun to dive into the growth, the rapid growth of esports. So I'm going to do that after this break. All right, welcome back to KOIN Conversations. As we're diving into all things esports, coming up on Saturday, we have the Comcast Run It Back tournament coming up, the collegiate finals in this esports landscape, which has been really fun to learn. And, I have no problem being transparent with you both, Nora and Billy, but esports is something that has been off to the side for me, but I haven't dug into it. You also talk about not just the growth of esports that we've been seeing, but there are franchises with sports franchises with their own esports gaming teams, and it's been fun to see the evolution. Now, Nora, you are a student at the University of Oregon at the moment. I am a
Yes.
University of Oregon alum, and that room you're sitting in is not one I recognize. I don't know if it was built when I was in college. What is it like to be a part of this collegiate landscape, and take me into just a day in the life of a collegiate esports player?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, this room is pretty new. It's constantly getting updated. We're constantly getting new mouse pads, new PCs, new monitors. We're getting everything new all the time. It's pretty fantastic. I mean, I am a junior currently, but my freshman year when I found this program, it was honestly on accident. I found it at something called the Flock Party, where it's like there's all these different clubs, and nothing was really interesting me. And then I heard this guy yell like "Spike on B," which is like a call out in Valorant, and I was like, "What?" And so I walk over, I grab a brochure, and then here I am 3 years later, and I'm like super invested in this program, super passionate about esports. And specifically for our program, I think like a phrase to describe it is like sense of belonging, right? Like it's like I feel like every single time I'm here, everyone is so inviting, so welcoming, and the space is just so lovely. The new people come in and out every day. And like our teams really get to know each other, whether it's on just like professional level or more interpersonal.
That's wonderful. How many hours a day are you in this room that you're in right now, practicing and honing the craft?
Well, my freshman year, I would say I spent way more time here than I should have. I think I held the record, quite honestly. I think I've held the record out of anybody who's ever been here the most. I used my full term pass to its extent for sure. Um, but usually now that I have like my own apartment, my own PC, I'm usually in here for practice for about 12 to 15 hours a week, with practice games, videos from our media team, things like that.
So fun. That's so cool. Billy, I want to continue to dive into the evolution of esports, specifically at the collegiate level. What's it been like to be a part of this growth? And this trend, and what's the next step for collegiate esports?
Yeah, that's a big question. And I came into this role 4 years ago. And what was really unique about Oregon is that they had already built out this space. That space was built right in February 2020. So kind of some bad timing. It was open for a couple of weeks and then was
Sure.
closed. And then I came into this role later that year in November. And the interesting thing about Oregon esports in general is that it's very student focused, right? We're under the division of student life here, and so we really do push that sense of belonging and trying to create a flourishing community for students, as well as Oregon residents, right? And so we want this to be a place where people can come in and play, whether that's they want to be a marine biologist, right, and they're just here to play on the weekends like Stardew Valley or Minecraft in our Minecraft server, or if they're like Nora, right? They want to work in this space. They want to get that kind of technical and soft skills that they learn as a co-curricular program, and play at the highest collegiate level, right? And so playing for those scholarship dollars against other D1 and other Power Four institutions, that's all what we're doing. As for the future of what esports look like is up in the air, right? We don't know. Right now, we're seeing a lot of colleges trying to go to that tier 1 professional level of play. We've seen other institutions like Winthrop and Maryville right there at the cusp of trying to get there at professional play. They're playing in tier 2, and we're playing within the collegiate level against these other institutions. And so I think there's a lot of changes and consolidation and kind of experimentation, right, in both the professional scene and the collegiate scene. And maybe the smoke will clear in the next couple of years and we'll really see where it's kind of evolved. But that could be at playing at the highest level or kind of creating a collegiate circuit. The really interesting unique thing to the esport DNA, that you would see different from traditional sports, is that somebody does own these games. So we do play in Big Ten esport conferences, but it's a lot more difficult to play against other institutions and create our own conference versus also playing with within the rules of Riot or Blizzard or whoever that institution might be.
And what you mean by that is that like nobody owns baseball,
Right.
and
Right.
but there is a company that owns Rocket League. There's a company that owns
Absolutely.
Valorant. So it's a different landscape. That makes a ton of sense. That makes a ton of
Yeah.
sense. And back on the, I guess I kind of want to buck a trend here. I think there might be somebody watching this who is like, video games really, like, you're spending this much time with is it really a career? You're talking about scholarship dollars, you're talking about playing it professionally, and I want to wake that side of it up a little bit. Why has this become such a viable path?
Yeah, absolutely. It really comes down to it being a spectator sport. Anything that somebody's willing to watch or get good at and spend a lot of time into, you can make money from it, right? I'm sure some people probably might feel that way about darts or band or cheerleading or whatever, right? Insert some sort of competitive activity that someone might not be familiar with, right?
Mm,
And the reality is, we see huge viewership numbers. The mid-seasonal invitational for League of Legends saw over 140 million viewers in just the US, right? We see incredibly high viewership numbers within esports in general, especially at the competitive level and even in the collegiate level. If we're talking about Rocket League, when we played in the Rocket League finals several years ago, we were being streamed on Twitch, if folks are familiar with Twitch, to 14, 15, 16, 17,000 people live. And so, there is viewership there. There is people that are interested in viewing this. And it's not just about playing professionally, right? If you're, not everyone is a Bo Nix in football, right? Not everyone is a faker in League of Legends, for those who are familiar with faker, right? Not everyone is somebody who's going to go pro or leave a dynasty or leave some sort of legacy behind in that sense. But there's a lot of folks that, it's not just the players on the football field. It's not just the players behind the screen. There's a lot of administrative work that goes behind it. There's a lot of production work that goes behind it. There's a lot of business elements that go behind it, marketing, right? All these disciplines that these students are learning in school, whether that is in school of journalism and communication or in the Lindquist College of Business, right? These are skills that are applicable to this space. And so we as an institution, as a university here at U of O, our job is to provide these students those technical and opportunity co-curricular learning activities so that they can bring those skill sets into an industry that they love, whether that's gaming, esports, and again, I'm gonna pick on it again, like marine biology, right? Whatever that is, that's our job. And so, you see this explosive growth because there's interest in it. People want to watch it. People want to be involved with it. And whenever people are watching and people want to be involved, there's money to be made.
Yeah. Well, and on that note, I'm going to use that as a transition to Nora. Are you hoping to go pro, or is this what is your major? Like, what does the future hold for you?
I'm a public relations major, so I'm kind of setting myself up for success within the field. I mean, dream job, ideal world, anything I could choose. Well, not anything, but like I would love to go pro. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that would be an amazing feeling. I'm very competitive, so it's like that. It kind of just goes with who I am as a person. But I'm still setting myself up for success throughout school by being a PR major, being the community event coordinator, and finding, like Billy said earlier, these soft skills and technical skills to then hopefully get a job within a company for esports within the future.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, well, again, Comcast run it back. The collegiate finals coming up Saturday, November 8th. Good luck. Sco
Thank
Ducks,
you.
throw the
Go
O.
Ducks.
Nora, I think it's time that you and I play some Rocket League and
Let's do
embarrass
it.
at least myself. We'll see how it goes. What do you think?
We'll be embarrassing ourselves together. So
All
let's
right,
do it.
all right. And if you're
I'm glad
watching
I'm
this
not a
on
part of
Coin
it.
Conversations, yeah, and if you're watching this on Coin Conversations, check out this story later on coin.com. It'll be there for you. All right, Nora, let's play some games.